Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, it's Shania. So for today's video, I have a few romance books that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, and even though St. Patty's Day is already passed, we're still in the month of luck. Therefore, I thought that these books would be really fitting for this video because these are books that basically have a very mindless plot. So like plot-wise, nothing really happens, but the whole central focus of these books are the smut. Yes, so you could call it books about getting lucky. Yep. So anyways, I think that we should just get started with the video now and start talking about these steamy romance books. Alright, so for the very first smutty book, we have one that I read back in February, and I really enjoyed this one a lot, and that is Misadventures of a College Girl by Lauren Rowe. So this book is what it sounds like. We have a girl that goes to college and she has yet to lose her virginity, and she just decides one night that she's tired of having that hanging over her head and she wants to just lose her V card. So her and her friend go to a party and they start scouting out some men, and they're like, who is going to take her V card tonight? And then in walks beautiful Tyler Caldwell, who is the definition of a fuckboy, and she goes, that's the man right there for me. And so she takes him up to his room and they start making out or whatever, and he finds out very quickly that she's actually a virgin, and he decides all of a sudden that he's like the biggest gentleman ever and is like, I'm not gonna take your V card, it has to be very, very special. So he devises a plan, and by plan I mean he becomes a professor and she becomes a student, and he makes this whole class where he has a syllabus, and each item on the syllabus is a sexual favor or a sexual act that she has to complete before the end of the semester. So this book is 100% smut all the way, and it is very, very hot. I was like, whoa, we got a lot of steam up in here. So if you guys are looking for a book that is a college age new adult romance that contains mostly 99% smut, this is the book for you. Alright, so this next book is actually a series, and this is for all of you fans out there that love 50 Shades of Grey. You read the whole trilogy and you're looking for something that is very similar to that, if not almost the same thing, and that is Bared to You by Sylvia Day. So this series kicks off with our main character, who is a young woman that gets a job at a multi-million-dollar company, and she becomes, I think she's like kind of a secretary, or she's like an ad person. I honestly don't remember, but whatever her job is, she works there, and she ends up working under the CEO or the owner of the company, which is Gideon Cross, our big main man who is like a billionaire. So basically it's Christian Grey in a nutshell. So her and Gideon have a sexual relationship right off the bat. They are sexually drawn to each other, and we find very quickly that Gideon has an appetite for sex like no other. But of course, Gideon is not without his demons, very much like Mr. Grey. And throughout the series, we start uncovering those demons and learning more about Gideon and why he is so tied and in tune with sex, but also has some problems with his sex life as well. So I basically just described the synopsis for 50 Shades of Grey, and if you guys are wanting a book like that, then I would definitely check out this series. Alright, so moving on. The next recommendation that I have for you guys isn't so much a book or a series, but it is an author, and that is Jessa Kane. So anything that you read by Jessa Kane is going to be 99% smut and a 1% plot. For specific recommendations by Jessa Kane, I would first check out Preacher Man. This is the first one that I ever read by her, and this one deals, of course, with a priest who is coveting after this young woman who I think is only like 18, and she's the definition of a Christian girl, like someone that is very prude, knows nothing about sex, like does not know anything about sex. And some really odd things happen in this book, and I think you guys will read it and be like, whoa. Because it's really weird, and I think if you guys just want like a smutty book that is like super kinky, then I would check out this one, because that is definitely what it is. The other recommendation that I have is Her Forbidden Obsession by Jessa Kane. This one I actually didn't like very much at all, and that is because of one thing that happened in the plot, not so much the smut. So if you guys are just wanting to read it for the smut, then I definitely would check it out for that. If you don't care about the plot, then that's fine. But this book is about an army man who is protecting the church during a revolution where everybody is trying to overthrow the church. They don't like what the church is doing anymore, and this man is in charge of protecting this specific nun who is basically coveted by all men. She's like the most beautiful thing that anybody has seen, and anytime a man sees her, they are tempted to sleep with her. And so this guy doesn't think that he will be tempted like that, but we all know how that works. And yeah, basically it's just their relationship throughout the book. Something that I want to mention when it comes to Jessica Cain is all of her stories are very, very short. Like her Forbidden Obsession is only 50 pages, and I think Preacher Man is only 80 pages. They're very short stories, and smut is at the front lines of each of those books. So if you guys are looking for a very quick, smutty read, then I would definitely check out anything by Jessica Cain. Alright, so this next book is a very taboo one, and that is because it deals with step-siblings, and that is Stepbrother Dearest by Penelope Ward. So I don't have much for the synopsis of this because the title kind of like gives it away, but of course we have step-siblings who end up becoming step-siblings their senior year of high school, and they move in together, and then the stepbrother, Alec, I think that's how you pronounce it, or Alec, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he is kind of the definition of a fuckboy. He brings a lot of girls home. He's like popular, but like dark and brooding, you know, that type. And the other girl's kind of like a goody two-shoes. She likes her good grades, lives by the law, that type of thing. And so they clash with one another, but then of course a mutual attraction arises, and then they have a romance, and a lot of smut happens. I think if you guys are looking for a book that's very taboo, forbidden, and a little bit kinky, this might be it for you. And I enjoyed this one more than I thought I would. I thought that this was going to be a type of book that I was going to be like turned off about, but it actually was really good. So I would definitely check out this one because it's definitely one of those books about getting lucky. Alright, so my next recommendation is The Guy in the Middle by Kate Stewart, and this is actually the third book in the series by Kate Stewart, which is the Underdog series. And even though it's the third one, you guys don't actually have to read the first two to read the third one. However, I personally did read them all in order, and I found that the first one is still my absolute favorite, but I think I really wanted to mention the third one because this one has a lot more smut than the previous two do. This one's also going to have more of a plot than the other recommendations that I've mentioned previously, and that is because this one centers around a forbidden romance between a football player and the coach's daughter. I don't want to give away too much, but just know that the first like 50% of this book is like smut the entire time, and it's like got this really great slow burn romance, but not for the entire book. It's at the very beginning, there's a slow burn, and then we have a lot of smut in the middle, and then we have a lot of like conflict and resolution happening at the end. Very much like a typical book, I guess. But anyways, this is a really great book if you guys are looking for a very smutty, cutesy read that's college age, and you got a sports romance in there too. So I would definitely check out The Guy in the Middle by Kate Stewart. Alright, so for my final recommendation in the category about books about getting lucky, we have a book that's actually more plot driven than any of the other ones I mentioned previously, and that is The Headmaster by Tiffany Reyes. So this book is very much like a movie I watched when I was younger, and I absolutely love this movie, so I won't tell you what it is just because it will spoil the whole entire plot for you guys. But know that I love that movie, and therefore I love this book. But anyways, this book is about a young woman who is traveling across the country in search of a teaching job, and she stumbles upon this all-boys school that's in a very remote area, and then she meets the headmaster, whose name is Edwin York, and he is a very chivalrous gentleman who is very hot and older than her, so we have an age gap romance. But they have a very simmering, hot romance right off the bat, and it is very hot, let me tell you. The smut was great because it has kind of a slow burn throughout, and oh, it's so great. I love this book so much. And let me tell you, the romance, the plot, the mystery, because there's a mystery that's happening on top of the romance, everything that happens in this book is delivered so effectively, and the ending will just make you gasp, I think, because it is a great ending. I absolutely loved it. So I highly recommend this one if you haven't read it already. I think you'll love it, and I think that the plot and the romance will just be great for you guys because it was great for me. So those are all the recommendations I had for the category of books about getting lucky. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure as hell did because I've been wanting to talk about these books for a while now, and I thought it was just so perfect to make a category like this for the month of March, and I just took the opportunity as fast as I could. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would love it if you join the fam, and also hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a video. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!